Hey everybody, Spectacular, Silverstacular is here to talk about stacking silver, stacking gold, stacking green stuff because, listen, you got to have a little bit. And being careful about the banks because they could fail. Believe it or not, in 2023, banks can still fail. Silicon Valley Bank, practically overnight, gone. Just vanished into thin air, basically. Well, hello everybody. I seek to educate and entertain through my journey of collecting coins and stacking precious metals. I encourage you to subscribe and please stay with me on this journey. I am Spegtacular, the Silverstacular. History does repeat itself. 2008, we saw banks fail. We saw craziness in the market. If you had money as an investor in 2008, you almost could not find a bad investment. I remember getting into AIG at like $1 something, and Citibank at like, I think it was like $2 or $3 a share, and Sirius Satellite Radio getting in there at like, I think it was like 11 or 12 cents or something ridiculous. Like I said, you almost couldn't pick a loser. I mean, they were all losing, don't get me wrong, but eventually, if you just had some confidence, they were going to be a winner. Now, I don't see that kind of crash happening here in 2023. You saw the swiftness of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC, coming in there and basically saying, hey, this is our bank now, we're taking over, we're going to be doing things the right way because Silicon Valley Bank has failed. The great big plan to raise interest rates apparently had a part of the reason that had a damaging effect on the Silicon Valley Bank. And a lot of their investments and things that they worked with ended up just having a ticking time bomb effect from those rise in interest rates. And listen, that's the big plan. That's the big plan, and we've seen now that it actually caused, or well, helped cause, a shutdown in a bank. And I don't personally see this, like I said, as a 2008 situation, as bad as that was, but it's not good, ladies and gentlemen. It's not good at all. And this is why I stress being your own bank. This is just some stuff right here on the table that I bought just a couple days prior to that failure, because prices had dipped down, and I said, hey, this is a great opportunity. And it was my time of the month to use some of this green stuff right here to exchange it for silver and gold. But how crazy that just overnight, people that relied on this bank, Silicon Valley Bank, had them for years, it just disappeared. I had a member reach out to me that said that they had been with Silicon Valley Bank since they were 18. And overnight, all of their accounts, the credit cards, everything canceled, shut down, gone. And so they're left like, what do I do now? I have to, I'm displaced. I have to go and try to open new things and go elsewhere. Etsy sellers, they got this email saying, hey, it's going to be a little bit. Can't quite get the money to you in some cases because we use that bank. And so just be patient. Just be patient. All those crazy bills that you have, that food that you need to feed your family, just don't buy that for a little bit, because you need to be patient. You need to be patient, work with us, because we don't have the money because of this crazy bank failure. Wow, huh? And so that kind of thing is where the trickle effect comes from. Now, it's not going to be like all these banks collapsing and the FDIC having to come in there and the government just trying to save the day. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but it's still going to have a trickle effect on a lot of people that work through this bank. It was one of the top 20 biggest banks in the United States, the Silicon Valley Bank was. And just like that, it can be gone. And so this is why I think I and a lot of people out there in the silver and gold community preaches this little thing right here. I'm going to say it. Be your own bank, end quote. And that's because it's important to have some investments that aren't just this stuff right here, right? It's not just like some digital numbers inside of a bank too. Trusting somebody else with your money. You're an adult. You're a big boy or a big girl. You take care of your own money. Why not? For the most part, I mean, we can do without banks, right? Now, there are some things that helps from. The bank's almost like a middleman these days, where it can help transfer money here and there just so quickly. But we see how it can also help you lose money quickly. Now, luckily, the FDIC exists to help, as a checks and balances, and kind of ensure that you won't lose all your money. I think it's up to, what, $250,000 and that's perfect for a lot of people. But again, you see places like Etsy who have way more than that in there. Other places, I think Mark Cuban says that he lost $8 or $10 million, and he was like, only, it's not a big deal. $8 or $10 million, it's not a big deal at all. But I mean, that hurts a lot of people, and it has a trickle effect on the little people. Maybe not the Mark Cubans of the world. Look at this right here. This is me trying to be my own bank. I got this nice 100-ounce bar on that dip in prices. Came down to just about, I think it was close to $19. Just, well, high 19s, of course, but, you know, it dipped $20 to just under 19. Or sorry, just under 20. So around high 19s. And I was able to secure some nice silver. You see it all on the table right here. Some junk silver, constitutional, 90%, whatever you want to call it. 90% dimes, 90% Franklin half dollars. So yeah, happy to get some of that stuff at a really good price, I think. I even got this fella right here. I was feeling kind of froggy. I decided to jump on this this buffalo. So 1 ounce gold. Happy to add that. And like I said, at a good time. But as soon as this Silicon Valley Bank fail occurred, you saw the prices of silver and gold come right on back up a little bit. And I think that what you're going to see in the coming weeks, and I could be wrong, I'm not trying to predict the future, but this is just kind of like the way I feel, is that you'll see the stock market still coming down. Crypto went crazy and started dropping. You know, Bitcoin and all that garbage, which I find to be garbage. If you love it, hey, you love it. I think it's a waste, personally. I don't think it's where it needs to be right now, but whatever. But I think that silver and gold will have a little bit of a climb. I think that people are going to go like, wow, I'm going to need a little bit of that stuff. But unfortunately, it's still going to be such a minority of you and I that are wise to this stuff right here, the silver and gold. It's still going to be a small percentage. It's going to be a percentage, but it's not going to be a whole bunch. Because what's going to really happen is the government's going to come in like they already did with the FDIC and say, hey, we're going to save the day. Don't you worry. Your government is secured. It's backed. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We're the government. You can trust us. And what's going to happen? People are going to be like, oh, yeah, cool. Well, I feel good now. Government's got our back. And the majority of people are still going to trust the government, still going to trust them to save the day, and they're going to go right back into, you know, trusting the banks, no big deal. And what's going to happen eventually? It's going to repeat itself. History does that. History repeats itself. And what's easier to me is just, for the most part, being your own bank. Using the little guy, which I find to be the bank in my life, the little guy is the bank, you know, just as I need, just to be that middleman here and there, make some transfers happen, bada bing, bada boom. But the big man in my life is me. That's right. I'm the big man in my life. And I think that if you learn something from this mistake in the banking system, is to be your own bank. Try your best, right? I'm not saying to put all your green stuff. I'm not saying to take every bit of this and put it into silver and gold. I'm saying a percentage. A percentage. Make sure that you take care of yourself with other forms of investments and not the investments that come from just sitting money in a bank and trusting them. Because sometimes you can't. You know what's weird too, and I just thought about this, is that we saw, was it kind of the end of last month, end of February or so? We saw all these stories about how banks are just buying up gold, right? Holding gold like crazy, hoarding it. And then all of a sudden, we see this month, Silicon Valley Bank fail. Weird. Weird. It's as if they knew it was coming, right? Huh. I don't know. Some insider stuff right there. Listen, that's just me being a conspiracy theorist, but listen, I don't trust other people with my money. You know, it's my money. I've earned it. I want to be the bank of myself, the bank of Spegtacular. And no, you can't join. You join your own bank, man. You know, you have your own. I'm not going to be your bank. You be your own bank. And I think that everybody would be better off if they were trusting themselves with their money. And, you know, you saw videos before in my, you know, past videos, maybe you have, where I've gone to banks and I've been like, hey, I need, you know, X amount of dollars. And they start kind of going like, why? What do you need that much for? I'm like, what do you mean? It's my money. Like, I'm just trying to withdraw. And they're, okay, sign this paper. We can't give you that much today, we'll give you this much. If you come back, we'll give you this much. If you need a crazy amount, give us 2 weeks or so to get that money here to the bank, and we can do that. And I'm like, really? You just don't have, it's just not here? Like, you have to wait to get my money in? That's different. That's crazy to me. But yeah, sure. Whatever you need, bank. I mean, you're the bank. You know best, right? I actually heard a story about somebody who's way, way rich. And he was trying to get, I think it was $250,000 or $300,000, whatever the money was, from the bank because he wanted to use it as a prop. You probably heard this story. He wanted to have it on as a prop on his little podcast. Just put it on the screen so you could see a stacks of this money. And so he went to the bank and they said, hey, fill out the paperwork. We can't get it to you today. It's going to be a little while. I forget what it was, a couple weeks, a month, whatever it was, right? And so he's like, wow, okay, it's not just here. I have to wait. Okay, well, I'll delay my podcast, I guess. Delay that, talking point that I was going to make with that money. And came back to the bank after that time frame, and they said, hey, let's say it was $300,000 he was looking for. They said, hey, we can't give you that $300,000, but we got you for $200,000. Here it is, boom. And so he still couldn't get all the money that he wanted, and he couldn't get it right away either. He had to wait to get that money. How wild is that, right? And that should really, really open your eyes to this stuff right here. That if you do have a decent amount of investment money, set aside money, whatever the case may be, don't have it all stuck in the banks. Because when you do want to go get it out, it might not be there for you, or you might have to wait for it. And if everybody's waiting at the same time, and then they all try to go rush and grab it like they did at Silicon Valley Bank, there goes a big collapse. And you don't want to be sitting there going like, wow, I saw this happen in 2008. I saw this happen now again in 2023, and I did not learn my lesson. You don't want to be that guy or that girl or that woman, excuse me. Can't say girl anymore. Anyways, that's my rant. I basically just wanted to show off some silver and gold, to be completely honest with you. That was my goal. And then the failure at the Silicon Valley Bank happened at the same time. I just think it's interesting how our government thought that, hey, the rise in interest rates will help, and they ended up basically having a trickle effect and shutting down a bank, not by itself, of course, but that was one of the factors for sure that occurred that helped ruin the lives of people. And I laugh just because of how crazy it all is, right? I hope the FDIC can come in and really help a lot of people, but I think that these people that worked for the Silicon Valley Bank are going to get time and a half or so for 45 days, I think was the agreement. And then after that, they better find the job. They better find the job because that's that. I don't think that that they're going to be banking anymore. I wouldn't want to be in a place that can just collapse and fail and overnight like that. I don't know that's a good career path for me. I mean, I got to have something that has a little bit more stability. Anyways, I got to go for now. I enjoyed sort of showing you some of this stuff, and I love this 90%. Let's talk about this just for a second. Prices have been coming down. Premiums have been coming down a bit on silver and gold, so I've been eating it up. Gold, actually, premiums have been kind of about the same, to be honest. But premiums on like Junk 90 coming down really good. So I think I paid, I'm going to try to remember. I think it was like $19 or $20 per dollar face value. And if you are not familiar with 90% silver, like these are half dollars. So $2 half dollars is $1 face value, right? Makes sense? You following me so far? So it cost me $20 for these two pieces of silver, which if you look them up, not quite, an ounce of silver in there, but it's historical. It's got an actual value on there. It's government issued. It's 90% silver. It's got some, some checks and balances there. It was money at one point. And to me, I just think it's so cool because it's also fractional. And so like, what I mean by that is if you have an ounce of silver, which is, this guy right here, 1 whole ounce of silver, that's an ounce. So if there comes a time when this ounce of silver is a crazy amount of money, let's say this ounce of silver turns out to be $200 for an ounce. That's the going rate because, maybe more banks collapse and the economy's in trouble and they're like, hey, we need to throw away this kind of money right here because it has no real meaning to it, no real value. Let's go ahead and replace it with silver and gold like they've done in the past because history could repeat itself, right? So let's say, though, this is $200 an ounce. Well, you're stuck with that, right? You're stuck with a $200 bar, basically. Now, you can break it in half, which, hey, that was done in the past, right? They used to take a piece of silver and cut it into, different sections depending on the need. And those sections would be X amount of, value, and they would trade them that way. Or what you can do is get into the junk silver, which is, historical silver from the United States, or your country most likely has some sort of silver that their country had, whatever you're watching from. And this is fractional. This is already fractioned out. So it can have value based on whatever size it is. So here's dimes, and here's, $50, and there's quarters, and these are 90% silver. That's, to me, the ultimate form of silver. And yes, if you're asking, I did drop one down below. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's silver, and it's old, and it's going to be fine because it landed on carpet. I got to go for now, but listen, don't trust all your money in a bank. You can't trust every little bit in there. And just watch yourself because history is going to repeat itself. And one day, you're going to be sitting there going, like, with your stack of silver and gold going, wow, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I started investing in silver and gold just by piece. I didn't put all my money into it, just little bits here and there, and it ended up being a good idea. I got to go for now. I've been rambling on. It was just an excuse, basically, to show and tell my silver and gold, and I think I've done that. Spegtacular is out.